Hello and welcome to the Afree Dominion show. My name is Freeman Singirankabo, and thank you so very much for tuning into our program today. Those of you joining us live, especially if you're joining us live from the social media like Facebook, YouTube, and other platforms that we push our content in real time, welcome. We are so excited that you can find some time out of your busy schedule to tune in today. That goes with you as well, those of you joining us live from the radio televisions, as well as radio stations. We are so thrilled, we are so grateful that you can find some time out of your busy schedule as well, as we share some of our news and some of the content that we find very close to our hearts. And for those of you, all of you, in fact, I just want to let you know that this conversation that we get to have here at Afree Dominion, these are the conversation that we care very deeply about. And we want to say that we speak very frankly with all of you. We speak boldly and we speak with no apologies, because the content that we get to share with you guys, like I say, they are not only important, but they are very dear to all of us, to each and every one of us here. And it is for those reasons that everything we get to share with all of you, we share this in the spirit of truth, love, and trust. And these are the benchmarks by which we wish to ask each and every one of you to measure both the integrity and the content and the originality of what we share with you, to ensure that everything it's in the parameters of truth, love, and trust. And we also want to ask that you also take some time and leave some feedbacks to us. Why we absolutely want to make sure that what we share with you here, it's not only important, helpful, but it also gives the opportunity to actually contribute to your everyday lifestyle. And we are kindly asking each and every one of you guys to take some time and leave us some feedbacks. We absolutely welcome all your feedbacks, regardless of how they are, whether good, bad, and the ugly. We welcome all your feedbacks, any criticism, as well as what we are doing better, or what we are doing in a such way that you are satisfied. We would love to know each and every one of those feedbacks from you. So how do you get in touch with us? So that those of you who would love to get in touch with us, those of you who would love to leave some feedback, you can get a chance to connect and link with us. You can find us on our website, which is www.afreedominion.com, www.afreedominion.com. From there, you can actually connect with us via telephone, via social media handlers, via WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, you name it. All the social media platforms, I do believe that we have penetrated all of them. Why? Because we know that not only this is a modern way to connect with each and every one of our brothers and sisters all over the world, including the world at large. So we want to make sure that we take advantage of all these platforms available and make a good use of them. But we also want to let you know that those of you who find it a little bit difficult to join us, especially those of you who are in Africa and don't have enough resources to actually link up with us, we also do have you in mind. We have those radio stations broadcasting the same signal. And to some of those of you who can actually capture the television signal, we are also serving you. But I do believe that the majority of you may find it easier to link up with us via social media, because nowadays we've realized that the majority of you can get access to a telephone, can get access to a computer, where you can go straight to these social media and find our live content, or even the on-demand content. We have all those content available, and we keep on programming it this way so that we can actually maximize the audience outreach. Anywhere that you could be, it is our intention that we get to join you, that we get to have an opportunity to link up with you, but also above all, you get that opportunity to also link with us and link up with the rest of our brothers and sisters all over the world, as well as the world at large. So we are super grateful for this opportunity that we have to get to link up with each and every one of you. And we also welcome all of you to come and join us live during our broadcast. We constantly do our broadcast on Monday through Friday from 12 Eastern Standard Time to 1:30, which is Washington, D.C. time. For those of you who are not sure what Eastern Standard Time is, it's Washington, D.C. and New York City. I do believe as well as Miami down in Florida. All of us, we are on Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to follow us, if you want to link up with us in real time, find us between 12 to 1:30. And with that in mind, I'd like to go right ahead and jump in on the conversation, especially given that we have lost a little bit of time because of another program that we were involved in. So, and we'd love to have this conversation under the umbrella of our Afree Dominion show. And there is no better way to start the conversation than to actually talk to you a little bit about what is Afree Dominion. So Afree Dominion, it's an idea that inspires, advocate, and also encourages, even goes as further as helping each and every one of us, our brothers and sisters all over, to take charge, to take a full dominion of Africa and African resources. Here we're talking about sons and daughters, African descendants, all in the interest of Africa and African people primarily, and then the rest of Africa afterwards. So essentially the Afree Dominion show, it's a mouthpiece also of the idea. Here at Afree Dominion show, you can expect our contents, everything we get to share with you. It is all for the purpose of inspiring you, advocating our voiceless brothers and sisters, encouraging each and every one of you to actually stand up and speak up. We go as far as also helping you with all available resources and help you to take over and take a full dominion of Africa, African content, African leadership, African resources, one country at a time. All in the interest of African people primarily, and the rest of the world afterwards. We love explicitly saying that out loud because we just don't want to fake it. Like I said, we speak straight out. No need to sugarcoat nothing, because this particular hour, it is our time, with no apologies to nobody, especially for the things that we care very deeply about. And it is in that spirit that we get to invite each and every one of you to come and join us. We have broken down our shows or our programs into themes so we can have an opportunity to actually to combine programming, similar programming in one particular theme. So from Monday all the way to Friday, we have 5 different themes because we broadcast 5 days in a week, and every one of those days we have a unique theme that we get to talk about. So on Monday we talk about the refugees, eradication of refugees and stateless persons. Here in particular, again, we're talking about African refugees and African stateless person. Why do we care so much about that? We care so much about that because Africans have been finding themselves stranded all over the world. Anywhere you find conflicts, warfare, there are Africans who are stuck. Not only within Africa, but also outside of Africa. And this has been a trend. Out of many countries all over the world, you find that mostly where Africans are, they tend to fall into all kinds of situations, including being refugees and stateless person, while they have their own native nations, native countries, but they cannot stay there. So on one day, as we get to scrutinize, why is it that us as Africans, we continuously find ourselves in predicament? We find ourselves as refugees. What can we do about that? What can we as Africans do about stopping this condition, about stopping these situations. We are more than capable of doing it. And so it is our desire, it is our will to take some action and make sure that this situation actually gets to be terminated permanently. On Tuesdays, we get to talk about the Constitution, law, and policy review and implementation. Here again, we explicitly talking about African countries, African regions, where you find African people. Africa and African countries has and have one of the most amazing constitutions, laws, and policies in papers. But these laws are barely helping Africans. Oftentimes they are ineffective. Other times they just don't matter. The actual life as Africans live is completely different than the subscribed or than the desired life that they ought to be living. So there is a huge disconnection between the reality and the desired outcome from these laws and policies. So it is our desire that we actually get to have some changes, some actually legitimate and measurable changes, measurable action plan that we can say, hey, these are the steps we are taking to actually change this situation. On Wednesdays, we get to talk about our testimony. We get an opportunity to write our history in our own way. And I get so excited when I actually say that because we have a rich history, guys. We have a rich testimony. But for centuries, for decades, for years, we have not been able to exercise the right to write our own history, the right to share our testimonies. So we decided to take that back. We have decided that enough is enough. We are going to rewrite our own history. We are going to retell our own testimony with no apologies to nobody. So I love Wednesdays because Wednesdays are always original. We get that opportunity, that once in a lifetime opportunity to actually speak on behalf of our brothers and sisters who are voiceless, who do not have the same opportunities as we do, who cannot have access to these amazing equipments to actually speak on our behalf. So we have an obligation, we have a responsibility to actually be there for our brothers and sisters all over the continent and all over the world. So in any way, shape, and form, you will see us. You will see us speaking on behalf of our brothers and sisters, no matter where they are going to be. We are going to make and we are making every effort to make that happen. On Thursdays, we get to talk about the spirit of dominion. You notice we love this word dominion. What is dominion? Dominion entails to govern, to manage your resources. Here in particular, the spirit of dominion is a spirit of management of our resources as Africans. The spirit of management of Africa and African resources. A spirit of governing Africa. A spirit of protecting Africa, protecting the peoples of Africa. The spirit of speaking the truth as it is. Not a subscribed truth. Not a faked truth. The true, the dirty, the natural truth as it is. The real information that speaks, that talks about us without sugarcoating anything. It can be so hard sometimes because oftentimes there is a huge group of people who find themselves offended that we can actually speak up, that we can speak as blunt as it is. Why should you speak in a way contrary to what you are experiencing? Unless you are ashamed, or unless you are being bullied, or unless you just don't care enough to speak on your own behalf, on your family's behalf, and all brothers and sisters, especially those who cannot speak. I just don't see other ways, other reasons why you cannot speak up. And it is for these reasons that we have decided for us enough is enough. If there is something wrong, we are going to talk about it. If there is something awesome we are going to also talk about it. We will not be sugarcoating anything. It is to our detrimental and to our ignorance also that we don't speak up, that we are afraid when we should be bold and strong and ready to face whatever that comes along with. This is the spirit of dominion that we're referring to. Being able to have control, govern, have all the powers and resources to take care of you before you pull out your, the handout. We don't want no handout. We want to work for ourselves. So that's what we talk about, the spirit of dominion. Take over. It is ours. It is within our right as well. On Fridays, we get to talk about the current event and its impact to Africa and African people. Here again, we get the opportunity to actually pick any subject that we choose. Be it something that is very close to us or something that could potentially be out there. Even sometimes it may be something in the mainstream media that we want to set the record straight, but oftentimes we get to choose what we want to talk about on Friday. So you get to have an opportunity to also have your saying, which is why we love it so much. We want to make sure that all of you, regardless of where you are, you get to have that opportunity to speak up, that opportunity to measure up, that opportunity to see what is best for you, to fight for what is best for you, to advocate for what is best for you, what is best for your family, your community, and your nation. So I cannot stress out how important it is for us to have this opportunity to be coming to your living room, to be coming to your radio station, and to actually meet you on your telephone, to meet you on your computer, to find you anywhere you could be on these social media and any other platforms that are helping us to distribute our content. So a huge thanks to HMG Network and its affiliate for actually having agreed to share our content, to broadcast our signal all over the world. This is an amazing opportunity and we are super grateful. And it is for this reason that we also give all of you a huge welcome. Come and actually take control, come and be a part of educating the world of who you are as a people, as Africans. Set the record straight for some of the things that they don't necessarily know about us, but it is our duties, it is our responsibility to set that record straight. They are very busy building themselves. They don't have any responsibility to speak on our behalf. That can come second or last for what they care. And truthfully speaking, this is not discrimination. It is just mere facts. These are facts. So we always say that Africa is on fire. And hence, it is going to be from you and me and our brothers and sisters all over Africa to actually take it upon ourselves to speak the truth, to share the truth, to share, to educate with the rest of the world who we truly are. What's happening at home, what's happening in your families, what's happening in your villages, what's happening in your nation. There's no reason why you should not be able to speak the truth about whatever that's happening in your own country. There's no reason why you shouldn't speak up on behalf of the voiceless brothers and sisters all over the planet, especially when we have an opportunity. So we have decided to take this opportunity and speak up and speak boldly and speak without any shame and set the record straight, guys. And with that in mind, I would love to give you all a huge welcome. Come and let's join the conversation. And by the way, we have Zoom open. For those of you guys who would love to join in the conversation as it happens, be sure to click right underneath there. There is a link for those of you who are connecting with us straight from social media. And with that in mind also, please apologies to all those of you who have been delayed. The signal was delayed because of another program that was taking place. So our apologies. We started I believe 10 minutes late. We are nevertheless going to end this broadcast on time because we have back-to-back programs, and it is our responsibility, like I'm saying, to ensure that we become good stewards of what we are given, of what we are being trusted with, and also making sure that those who are going to come next are not stranded because we are falling behind the schedule. And with that in mind, guys, let's jump right in it. Today is Monday. It's that day where we talk about our African brothers and sisters who are refugees and stateless person. And the topic today, we are raising an SOS. There's discrimination against African fleeing Ukraine Russian war. We want to talk about that today. And we also we really want to raise an alarm because up to this very day, the struggle is real, guys. The struggle is real. Many nationals are having trouble crossing over from Ukraine. Especially this last week, the majority of Africans have been held on borders, especially male Africans. Now, I want to put it out there. First and foremost, we are so accustomed to getting cut off sometimes when we have some of these contents because either some of these providers may feel like we are stepping the boundaries. But guys, I want you to know and to understand. Go on social media, first and foremost. Type in African situation in Ukraine. Be it any of the main popular social media, including Facebook, including Twitter, including YouTube, and so many others. So there are multiple reports, multiple reports from various sources showing deplorable conditions of Africans, in particular those Africans who are attempting to also flee. It seems like Ukrainians nationals have priority to actually flee Ukraine and take shelter on the bordering countries. The rest of the populations, non-Ukrainians, are not necessarily being helped out accordingly. In particular, since this show focuses on Africans, Africans are being stranded still behind the lines, behind the war zones. They've been finding it so difficult, so difficult to actually flee. And the very last we checked, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees is supposed to actually speak on behalf of everybody, including Africans. There have been multiple reports that there have been discrimination. They have been sort of like whitewashing these words. They using words like non-whites. They don't want to say Africans, especially because they say there are about 152 nationals who are in Ukraine, including Africans. And Africans have many nationals. They are those in the west, those in east, those in north, those in south. Many countries. So the reports are not being explicit. And that is actually offensive. I'll be just frank with you guys. If they say Ukrainians have priority to flee Ukraine, why can they say Nigerians have priority? Sierra Leoneans have priority. Congolese have priority. Senegalese have priorities. Moroccans have priorities. Ghanaians have priorities. There are over 80,000 students from all over, including Africa, who are stranded and who have had it so difficult to cross over in Ukraine. So, and I want to ask you guys, are there ways to assist our brothers and sisters from Africa to cross over the borders of Ukraine? There have been reports of death, but up to this very moment, we don't have any accurate numbers. But we know that so far, the refugees who have been able to cross over, they are literally close to 1 million. If it hasn't already passed 1 million, according to numbers from United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and also other local sources that are showing and telling and sharing this information. Now, another alarming situation that's taking over or that's happening, African males are also being forced to stay behind and go fight, along with the Ukrainians, those who are between the ages 18 and I believe 60 or 70. Don't call me on the maximum that they're going for. I don't quite remember, actually. Let me verify to make sure. And I'm finding this quite offensive, actually. On one side, they would like Africans to go and fight alongside with the Ukrainians, but they are not being treated equally. Reports of discrimination are occurring, are showing. Like I said, because of copyright reasons, we cannot pull up any of the videos that's out there from either mainstream media or just people who have recorded themselves. And it is very, very, very difficult to actually speak on behalf of these brothers and sisters. And also some of the videos are being taken offline. So there is this unjust way of not helping them come out, which is why we actually are here right now speaking out and saying, don't their life also matter as much as Ukrainians? It is reported that only that those who have been given priorities are Ukrainians, women, children, and elderly. Those have priority at the crossing borders. We understand the Ukrainian males are staying behind to fight, along with some other foreign nationals who are fighting alongside with them. And Africans, some of them have actually told us that they have been forced to stay behind to fight on behalf of the Ukrainians, but they're not being treated equally. What's up with that? And also to also be fair and square and balanced, the Ukrainian government has spoken out. They say that the condition on the grounds on these borders do not necessarily reflect the government policy. They have acknowledged that there is a little elements of discrimination, but that's not the government policy from what they are saying. But then we want to find out, if it is not the government policy, how is it that they cannot enforce fair and square evacuation to everybody, including our brothers and sisters from Africa? But then we also want to ask, what is African Union is doing? Again. What is it that they're doing to help these Africans who are stranded? What are these governments who have sent their students, these Africans who are students and professionals in Ukraine, what are they doing? What can they actually set up evacuation of their own? What's going on? So you can see some disparity, and you can see some a huge difference in the way the evacuation is being handled. And I am trying to put it as mild as possible so that they don't kick us offline or disconnect our signal, which is really sad. If I spoke the way I want to speak it, you guys will probably not be watching us, especially if you're on Facebook or YouTube, because they have been cutting us off for speaking out. However, though, we have some good news coming out in all of this. We have been graciously given the opportunity to actually broadcast the signal from other sources. So coming up very soon, we will have an opportunity to actually speak to you as raw as it can be, what's actually happening. Because right now, some of the contents that we would love to share with you are not friendly according to the policies from some of these providers. So we're working very hard to have our own platforms where we can actually speak our mind, where we can speak what's on the ground by the very people, our brothers and sisters who are actually giving us the reports. So right now, unfortunately, we don't have we don't have a means to actually to filter some of the deplorable conditions taking place on behalf of our brothers and sisters. So, and currently we are at the mercy of some of these broadcasters who want us to speak it in a way that they see as non-offensive. But guys, let's face it. In Rwanda, when people were dying, when millions and millions of people were dying, all these networks were showing a bunch of dead people on their own televisions. They were showing people fleeing. They were showing all kinds of things because it was juicy news. But tell me why now, to some station, they cannot even show those images. So that discrimination is not just on the border, but also the way it's being handled. It's truly showing discrimination. And we would love to really ask, on behalf of these brothers and sisters, all those of you who have the capacity and the means to actually evacuate everyone, would you please evacuate everybody? There's no reason why our brothers and sisters should be discriminated against when we know that bullets are not choosing who to fall on and who not to fall upon. Bombs, when they're falling down, they're not seeing an African, they're not seeing a Ukrainian. They just taking out everybody who is in that vicinity, in that proximity. So I believe that it is not so much to ask that our brothers and sisters also get to be evacuated. Don't force them to come and fight on your behalf by force. Let them choose to come and actually side with you guys. Again, a good example. In Rwanda, from 1990 to 1995, 96, 97, a war was going on. Rwanda has never forced anybody to come and fight on their behalf. We have not seen any foreign nationals who came and rescued any Rwandans. Perhaps a few. Let me not say we have not seen any, because that would be inaccurate. But we've never forced any foreigners to stay and fight with the machetes when people were being butchered. Foreigners were being evacuated, including military foreigners. That goes for Marines, the French, the Brussels, the Australians. They were evacuating themselves. It got too hot to the point where they were just not fighting. It wasn't worth it. So we get to see deja vu all over again, where our brothers and sisters are stuck on the borders because they are not priority. They are not the priority. And we say that that is so deplorable. That is straight out discrimination, guys. There isn't any other way to sugarcoat it. There isn't any other way to sugarcoat it. And it's sad that in 2022, you can still discriminate against many people, including our brothers and sisters from Africa. And by the way, it is not just Africans who are being discriminated. There are some other nationals also who are being discriminated, like Indians. And some Asians, we have also read the reports that Asians also have been discriminated against. So you can see that what's going on right now, it is not a humanitarian crisis that's actually cherry picking who to help and who not to help. This is not the kind of ideals that the United Nations is built upon. The African Union is built upon. We should be able to help our own brothers and sisters. We should be able to help them come out of this predicament, come out of this bad situation happening right now. But because of what's happening, there's very little help. Very, very, very little help. So now I can just appeal to you all, our brothers and sisters, our kings and queens. What are you guys doing to help our brothers and sisters who are stuck in Ukraine? What can we do together? What can we do? Again, for us, in particular, personally, if I may put it that way, I see deja vu. I see same condition all over again. They're like replaying. And you wonder, how is it that we stay in the same predicament, same situation, and no changes? Is it that we don't like ourselves? Or is it that we just don't matter? Or is it that we just don't have, we're not as valued? We don't have the same priority as everybody else. Hence, discrimination. Why is it that the United Nations isn't addressing that problem? We understand the Ukrainian government is in crisis. And let's face it, they gotta help their own citizens first before they help somebody else. I mean, that's just legit. Which is why I'm wondering why we haven't seen African government going in Ukraine and actually evacuate their own people. I have barely read any reports that says like this country, that country, that country, that country, it's going out there to evacuate their own people. I've checked some of the embassies' notices. I haven't seen anything. If you guys have seen anything, please let us know. Let us know so we can actually give them kudos. Kudos. Because it's important. It is important that we speak up on behalf of our voiceless brothers and sisters who are dying equally. Bombs are not just passing by Africans. They're killing them the same way they're killing the rest of everybody who's there. So what can we do, guys? What can we do to alleviate the situation, to help them in this dire situation that they have found themselves in? This is a question that we're more likely going to be asking for a long time, a very, very long time. But there is no other way to start asking these questions as today. So you can see now, this whole refugees crisis, it has already crossed borders from other nations. Yet there is no permanent solution as to what needs to take place, what needs to be done to help these brothers and sisters to find safety and shelter. And this is where we get to come in and we say, if we don't get to do it ourselves, then who will do it on our behalf? It's super sad, guys. It's super sad. Check out the newspaper. They've got plenty of reports. I wish that this whole copyright thing was a little bit of easy, so we could share some of these gruesome videos. But because we don't have any correspondents in Ukraine currently, we have not been able to retain our own content that we can share with you guys. But I would actually love to ask all those of you Africans who are able to actually check our television signal or our social media signal or even our radio station. I encourage you guys to give us a call in real time if you can, and let us know what's happening with you guys. Even if you cannot do that during the off-air time, we will actually receive you. But we know that most of you aren't in the mood of speaking or talking, quite frankly and quite obvious. We understand why. But also we really need to make sure that we can be able to speak on your behalf in your own words, without any exaggerations, without any sugarcoating what's happening. Because if we don't speak the truth and nothing but the truth, the raw information as it is, things are going to continuously become confusing. Unbalanced truth is going to be reported. Like, imagine, ever since the war, how many Africans have lost their lives? Those numbers are not known currently. They're giving out bold figures, like overall. But we have not. I have yet to find any reports that's actually explicitly saying that These are the numbers of these nationals who have lost their lives as consequences of these deplorable conditions taking place in Ukraine. And don't tell me that this data isn't there. It is there. But not for the right people. Which is why this whole claim of discrimination is actually being voiced out. There is impartial data sharing on what's happening there. From the very highest sources all the way to those people who have nothing in their pocket. So is that fair, guys? Is that fair that our brothers and sisters get to be discriminated and none of us have anything to do about it? Or is bold enough to do something about it? So we are asking you guys to come and speak up. Come and speak up, guys. It's important to speak up and to know when to speak up and to speak boldly, frankly, and with no apologies. A war is a war. A war is not some theater taking place. It's a death and life kind of situation. People die, literally, they die. Indiscriminately. Guns and bullets, they fall on the wrong people. Bombs fall on the wrong people. You can perish and then they can say victims of Ukraine and Russian war, and that's it. They don't know your name, they're not interested to know your name, your family, none of that. Which is why we want to change these conditions, guys. But it is us who have to do that. Because, let me also be quite honest, I do not blame the Ukrainians. They are busy trying to save their own lives. They're busy. So I can't hate. I can't hate. I can't hate at all. But I'm disappointed in the rest of the organizations seeing and witnessing, even taking pictures and taking videos of Africans being kept, being refused from crossing these borders. I am disappointed in a lot of these organizations not speaking up, not explicitly speaking up, that Africans also need to be evacuated, that Africans also need to be let out of Ukraine. With or without any papers, refugees, any person who's fleeing, who's leaving a nation in a war, you should not make it so difficult for them to flee. They're trying to spare their own lives. Understandably, you don't have resources to help them, but at least let them try their own luck. Let them try their own luck. That's all they're asking. That's all we're asking as well. I remember when we were fleeing in Rwanda, I can only imagine if some foreign military would have to come and be like, no, you can't go anywhere because ABCD. Or no, you can't cross over on this border or that border because of ABCD. Now, you do get to see some of those remnants, some of those reports where a nation may say, we have too many refugees, we don't have the capacity to handle the influx of refugees. But that's why there is something like United Nations. They have a mandate to try to bring peace, to try to help these refugees, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. Its sole purpose is to help refugees, those who are in deplorable conditions. So we are wondering, why is it that it's not actually balanced throughout? Close to a million refugees have already left Ukraine. As few numbers of Africans, as few as they are being refused to freely evacuate, just like everybody is. And we are saying that is absolutely dirty. That is not right. Plain out, that is not right. And the United Nations and African governments, the African Union, you all should be able to do something that is very vocal to explicitly request that Africans also be allowed to cross these borders. How many days have these bombs been falling in Ukraine? When do you get to prioritize also Africans? There are reports of all Ukrainian nationals being able to cross over. That includes women, children, elderly, and males. There are reports. There are videos as well. Check them up on social medias. Check them up on some of those international stations who are reporting what's happening there. So guys, let's speak up. Let's speak up because this is happening, and this is happening to somebody's loved one. If a loved one is perishing, or if they perish because they've been denied the ability to flee, the ability to leave these war zones, who is going to be responsible? Who's going to take the responsibility for those deaths, for those unnecessary deaths? And these are the kind of deplorable conditions we really would like to see terminated. Every human being is the same. We all have red blood. We all die the same. And the quicker we get to understand and adjust to that, the better things are going to become in the short run, including long-term capacity to actually deal with the disasters and these crazy situations taking place. So I play with you guys to take it upon yourselves, guys, and connect with as many Africans as possible in various regions, either in Ukraine or outside of Ukraine, especially in Poland. We understand that they've been really having a rough time fleeing through Poland. Guys, come on. Why discriminating? Why? Isn't it an African life? Doesn't it matter as much as a Ukrainian life or any other foreigners who are also being allowed to evacuate? I submit that they do matter. African lives matter too. So let's speak up on their behalf and make sure that these conditions are stopped. It's really imperative. It's imperative that it gets to be stopped without any delays. Because for every death of an African who's perishing because he or she has been denied the right to flee, I'm wondering who's going to take the tab, who's going to take the responsibility, who's going to go to jail for that. And quite frankly, nobody. Why? Because our lives don't matter as much as everybody else's. Can we speak frankly? Can we speak truthfully for what it is? So it is upon us that we're going to have to make our lives matter. We're going to have to be the ones doing it. Otherwise, we're going to have a hard time saving the lives of our brothers and sisters all over Ukraine. Not to mention that there is also another huge group of brothers and sisters in millions who are also lingering around Africa, equally as refugees. Though, at the very least, for them, they are giving a little mercy. They may wander in one country. If another country doesn't want them, another one may potentially take them, especially that they're all Africans. So guys, this is serious. This is really serious. And we're all going to have to learn how to speak up. Because today is these brothers and sisters, tomorrow it could be you, it could be me. And if I didn't take the time to speak up and to speak out on behalf of these stranded brothers and sisters, on behalf of these voiceless brothers and sisters, when is it going to be my turn? What's going to happen? when it becomes your turn, what's going to happen? So let's have a little humanity, a little Ubuntu with ourselves. It doesn't cost much, guys. It only requires a heart, a willing heart. That's all. A willing heart to save another life, to save another brother, another sister who's stranded and they just want to save their own lives. The same way all these millions of other refugees have been allowed to cross over. So there's so much to say. There is absolutely so much to say about these deplorable conditions, and we cannot stress enough of what must be done or what must take place. But I also would like to see African governments stepping up. If you're paying your taxes, and if you follow all the protocols, all the instruction that's been given to you, how come we haven't seen African Union soldiers linking up together, teaming up together, and go evacuate Africans? It's incredible that we don't get to see these things. I remember in Rwanda, when the war became very, 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 very bad. Foreign nationals, their own military came through and they evacuated their own people. And oftentimes they would make a few exceptions and evacuate a few Rwandans. So if that can happen, if that's been the trend, where is African Union and its capacity? Where are these nations who normally are fighting over resources, but now when their own people are needy, they can come through? They're not able to come through. What's wrong with this picture, guys? So we are saying that this image, these deplorable conditions must stop. But they will not stop if we don't speak up. So each and every one of you, you need to pick up your own beacon and you need to actually scream SOS to your legislature, to those in charge, including you as a people. If we speak up together, then we can make it happen. So let's organize and do something. Let's organize and do something about that. So it's super sad, guys. It's super sad that we have this condition taking place. The so-called role models, African role models, aren't doing anything about it. Because most of them, they don't really find the reason to do any of it or to do anything about it. Especially they may say, I don't know you like that. In Kinyarwanda, they say, Bagawi fashe, which means like, you do you. You're the one who took yourself there, so you figure it out on your own. Which is very, 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 very sad. So I really want to ask you guys to please find it upon you, find within your heart to help. Because they really need some help, guys. We are going to see if we can actually get some testimony for you guys to listen to, because man, it's sad when you see how heartless we can be as a people. It is really sad when you can see how heartless we can be. At least they're saying women, children, and elderly. What happens to African women, African children, and African elderly who found themselves in Ukraine? Where are they going to be put? Don't they deserve to also to be evacuated just like everybody else? But then also I was so amazed to hear how they actually having the boldness of telling some of these Africans to stay behind and go fight. Just like in the slavery days where slaves, were given a little choice. Hey, if you go fight, we will free you. So either way, they were being forced to fight. And a little stipulation about freedom. And most of them went back home in bags because they were the one who were put on the front line, on the front line. Check out the history, guys. So I want to literally tell you, brothers and sisters, do not sign up to just go on the front line if you're not being taken care of like everybody else. It isn't fair. Can we speak the truth? Be frank and be bold and say, hell no. If you're not helping us out, we also matter. We also would like to find safety. Then we can also help. I've heard one of the reports where someone says, you Africans, you have been here for a number of years, so you should be helping without any question asked. Literally, go check it out on social media. I do not recall us asking a lot of foreign nationals who were in Rwanda. I do not recall them being asked to stay behind and fight on behalf of the Rwandese people. I do not recall seeing anything like that, hearing anything like that. And this is also not to say that just because it didn't happen with us and us too, we are going to look to just look away. No. But we are explicitly saying, let our people also flee, just like your own people are fleeing. Do not discriminate against them. It's not okay. It is absolutely not okay. And it is extremely concerning that some of these governments who actually champion themselves as humanitarians are not doing anything about that. They are absolutely quiet about it. Even though we are super grateful that in the ages of social media, in the ages of fast information, a lot of these reports are getting to us quicker than you can actually contain them. And we are also super grateful that we can actually have our own station where we can broadcast these signals. And soon to have our own emitters so that you no longer have to actually stop the broadcast just because we are saying this and that and that and that. These are all means to censor people. These are all means to disfranchise a specific group of people, which falls in that category of discrimination. So I just have a question to you guys. The lives of which are going to be perishing because nobody cared enough to say, hey, let's help you find shelter. Who is going to be responsible? Is it going to be the Ukrainian government, the Russian government, or the African governments? Who is going to be responsible? Especially when we know that governments is one of the responsibility of any government is to actually attain to the needs of their own citizens and the guest citizens as well. So I see Ukraine, I see Russia, even our African government equally responsible to actually help our people. But we also recognize that may be wishful thinking, because right now the last thing probably on Russia and Ukrainians' mind is to evacuate some of these brothers and sisters. Frankly speaking, there's no need to sugar, there's no need to lie or to just dress it for what it's not, guys. And this is not racism or anything like that. Look at the reports on social media. Look at the reports on any of these platforms that have videos. Then you get to have a picture. Then tell me if that isn't a definition of discrimination. And we want that to stop. We literally want that to stop, guys. So let me not speak like a broken tape, because I'm actually angry about this and I'm saddened about this. But I also want to be able to to fuel the anger to something positive. I want to plead with you that we get together and do something about that and help our brothers and sisters. We avail ourselves for airtime. We avail ourselves to even get there for the few of us who are able to get there. Whatever we can do to help, we are more than willing to help, guys. And we are speaking openly and publicly. Whatever we can do, we are more than happy to help. Check us out on afreedominion.com. Make sure that you send us a message. If they can put down there our contact information, because it's important that you guys get that opportunity at least to say, hey, you guys said that you are willing to help. Here we are. Please come through and help us out as well. So if you go on afreedominion.com or www.afreedominion.com, you can find some further information how you can link up with us. But also, if you use our email, info@afreedominion.com, you can also link up with us. You would also find our telephone, our WhatsApp number, our main line, which isn't which is not an SMS line. We have every number, every way, every means for you to reach out to us and for us to work with you, to scream out, to find some resources and to help you guys out. And that's just my humble request to all those of you guys who can help, to please help. I'm being asked, Freeman, the African governments don't have voices or don't care about their citizen lives. Not totally true, but yes, to a certain degree, I tend to also agree with Concord. No one cares about us when we all realize that we are responsible for our destiny. Bang. Concord, who is going to give us voice? We as Africans need to have our own voices. I am with Umutoni, 100%. I am with you. I am absolutely with you. It is us who have to give ourselves that voice, which is why we are super grateful for HMG Network and the affiliates for partnering with us. They see the importance, they see the need for us to have our own voice, our unfiltered voice. And that's why we keep on asking you guys, please come in and help us so we can be able to have opportunity to have our own emitter, our own satellites to broadcast our own signals. Until we are capable of doing that, we are going to be disfranchised in some ways or the other. Because if someone doesn't like what you are saying, they're just going to disconnect you, be it on television, on radio station, or on social media. And that's why we keep on asking, if you have any expertise in communication, we want to link in with you. Come and link with us. We are working days and night to actually have a solution for this problem, where they're not gonna cut us off because we're using their own antennas. Just because we communicating or we're saying something they don't want to hear, we want to make sure that they're not going to cut us up anymore. And that's coming, guys. That's the good news. That is absolutely the good news. I can tell all of you. Soon they will not be able to cut us off. Soon we won't be able to come to this platform to broadcast our own signal. We will do it ourselves with our own resources. And that is why we need each and every one of you guys. We cannot really speak what's fully in our hearts if we are being censored. If you're being told like, hey, you cannot say that because this is misleading. How do you mislead someone when you're saying, SOS, I also want to flee. I also want to save my own life, my child's life, or my children's life. My wife, my husband, my uncle, my grandpa, my grandma, my auntie, my uncle. Because you're speaking boldly, because you're speaking loud, and then they cut you off. It's not fair, guys. We know it's happening. It has happened to us plenty of times, more than we care about, or more than we care for. But soon and very soon, We are going to see again. Soon and very soon, it's going to come to an end. Soon and very soon, we will be in a position to do this ourselves. Guarantee, guys. And I just want to ask you guys if you can also take part in it and be a part of that. It will be really good. Imagine the way they chase and kill the citizen overseas. And you ask them to raise voices about the racial violence. Yeah, that's been happening. One thing that I'm actually thankful of social media is that you no longer have to rely on mainstream media for coverage. You can have a smartphone today and video record an entire situation taking place in real time and share it right then and there. So I want to be able to also build our own platform where we can be able to share this content in real time and live without discriminating other people. It's super upsetting to see us getting cut off when we are actually trying to speak on behalf of our own people. It's deplorable. But not for long. Not for long. Not for long. So I want you guys to really reach out to any of your friends from Africa, from these nations, and see how they're doing. Send them through here. Give them our contacts. Let them know. We'll be more than happy to actually get them through the networks and have the real testimony as it happens. Needless to say also, that whole censorship also, it has risen, actually, it had increased, especially ever since this war started. There are some images and some videos that they have completely cut out. So I believe that we may have to set up our own servers, our own equipment, where we can actually give you a direct access so you can share with us those content. Because we know some of you guys have taken some images, have taken some videos, and we would love to share those with the rest of the world, unfiltered, so they can see what's happening. Because sometimes you can tell a story, you can tell you can tell a situation, but if it's being filtered or if it's being edited, you don't have a full picture of what's happening. Or they might say, no, this is not correct, so this is a version we want you to run. Why are you going to speak on my behalf? What makes you think that how I want to say it is how you want to say it? But we understand when you own the big station, the big microphone, sometimes you are at the mercy of that person who has it, which is what we don't want. We do not want to be at the mercy of any of this platform when we want to talk to you about us and about the issues that we care mostly about. We don't want to be censored by nobody. And that's why we keep on saying, bring all your resources so we can actually set up our own platforms where we are not going to be censored. We are so serious with this, guys. We are very serious about it. And with or without any of your help, we will get there and we will do it. Because this is too great not to do. It is too important to miss out. We cannot see our brothers and sisters being executed day in and day out, and day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out, and you just become silent. You cannot witness this discrimination and you actually remain silent. That's giving them more juice. So we want to put an end to that, and we want to stop it openly. Openly. I also want to give a huge thanks to countries that actually have taken in some of our brothers and sisters. We know that on a limited basis, they have been receiving some. So that's also something really good to report, because that also shows that it is not every nation that's behaving the same way. Not all of them are mistreating our brothers and sisters. So it would also be a remiss if we didn't say that. But we have a great data report showing how they are also being mistreated. Another brother says here, it is all about our lack of action. How come we can't do the same? How long can we keep complaining? I agree. Which is why, for each and every one of you guys right now in the chat, what can you do of this situation? Action-wise, the same way Benson just said. The lack of action. We absolutely have a huge lack of action, but it's a choice. It's a choice not to act. It's really a choice. Regardless of the situation you could find yourself in. When it comes to matters of life and death, you have choice. You always have choice. You always have a choice. The question is, will you live up to those choices? RPF arrives to do all they did. Imagine what we can do with the technology. We have this moment together. We can change our world. I so agree with you 100%. So guys, I don't want to be a broken tape, because I say all I really wanted to say. And I can't say anything more about that, because all of you know what's happening. All of you have been witnessing what's happening. And I just want to know if you are on board on doing something. And if you are, shoot us an email on that info@afreedominion.com, so we can actually give you some further details, some further information that may actually help us further these initiatives. Also, if you know anyone who's stuck in Ukraine, if you're in touch with any of them, also send them our way. We have a few contacts that we can also spare so that they can utilize them. So that's our help, that's our support. But really, our hearts goes on to the lives of those who have already perished in the ugly conflict of Ukraine and Russia. Really, our hearts goes to those families. And I will also further say our hearts goes to our brothers and sisters who are stuck in Ukraine, who are being denied to cross over to the neighboring countries. And our hearts goes to our brothers who are being forced to go and fight with the Ukrainians. There are a lot of things taking place, guys, most of which would actually trigger us being kicked off the networks if we speak bluntly about it. But I am so excited of the weeks coming through, the upcoming weeks, because then we won't have to be on these, we will not have to be on these lanes. We will have our own lanes, our own means of broadcasting, so we can actually speak what we really have on our hearts, that we would like to communicate with each and every one of those, each and every one of you guys. Last but not the least, I also want to remind you guys that we have taken initiative to also check in with our brothers and sisters, our African brothers and sisters all over the world. We want to be in a position to drive this situation of refugees. We know that the United Nations High Commission for Refugees is doing a fantastic job, but quite frankly, not what we would like to see. So let's also get together as brothers and sisters all over. Let's set up the means for us to help our own people. If the house is on fire, if it is your house, you have a responsibility to actually do something about it. You got a responsibility to pick up that bucket and come and fight to quench that fire. Not an outsider, not a foreign who's gonna come and help you first. You have to be able to help yourself first and foremost. And I believe that is not too much to ask, that you actually, you bootstrap and then you come in and you help your brothers and sisters. We don't want to keep up. We don't want to maintain the status quo of refugees and stateless person all over Africa and outside of Africa. There are solutions, all kinds of solutions. Let's implement them. Let's see what works and what doesn't work. Let's discard everything that doesn't work. Without even thinking about it, if it doesn't work, get rid of it. And let's focus on the tools and the steps and these techniques that are working. And it's actually add more fire to it so that we may have a much higher chance to help our brothers and sisters flee and safely get to a safe zone. So guys, let me end it there. There's so much to say, but we have an enemy called time. We don't have enough time to stay on air. A huge thanks again to the team here at HMG for really working tirelessly day in and day out to collect and to help so many brothers and sisters to voice out their opinions. We are grateful for the resources that you have graciously given to us, but we are also helpful to all affiliates broadcasting this signal, be it on television, be it on a radio station, and also be it on this social media. We also want to give a huge thanks to companies who are actually helping us out acquiring the technology and acquiring the means to set up our own broadcasting stations where we can get shut off. We are very excited about that, by the way, and we hope that you too can actually participate. Come and pitch in. Give us some resources, your time, your energy, your money. We want it all. We need it all. Broadcasting, it's a very expensive business, guys. And I want to let you guys know that for every time we go on air, it's a lot of money that's being spent by the most generous organization and people all across. So don't you guys ever think that this broadcast is free. It is not free. It is absolutely not free at all. So imagine what it takes to broadcast to television, to radio station, and to the social media. The technology behind it and the people behind it, those who are willing to participate and those who are opening up their wallets. So we really need your help, guys. We really need your help. We don't want help, but we need help. We would love your help as well, but we really need that help. All right? So with that in mind, guys, let me end it here. I'm super grateful for the time that you've given us and the opportunity to serve you guys. We really do this from the bottom of our hearts. A huge thanks to each and every one of you who are tuned in live and who will tune in later on. Please reach out to us at afreedominion.com or www.afreedominion.com. Reach us via our emails as well, info@afreedominion.com. When you go to the website, you will find the rest of our contacts, and we welcome you. We welcome you with all that you are able to do to help our brothers and sisters to come out of this predicament, especially our brothers and sisters who are stuck in Ukraine. And with that in mind, guys, we are ending our broadcast here. Thanking each and every one of you for your time and having actually freed some time and come and be with us today. I am Freeman Singirankabo with Afree Dominion. I wish you all a super fantastic day, and God be with you, especially those who are stuck in harm's way in Ukraine and even some other hostile environment within and outside of Africa. God be with you all, and until we see you again tomorrow, you have yourself a great day, a good night, and good morning to each and every one of you all across the world. So long for now.